I mean, we still got lots to play for here. Obviously it's not the easiest situation. I don't need to fool anyone, but there's a lot of guys that have a lot to play for, and we have a lot of self-pride, each and every one of us, and we want to win this game, and we're really not going into this game any different than any other game.
Is this more just about kind of maybe a send-off for the fans more than anything else?
Yeah, for sure. We want to show them, send them in the summer with a good game, and show them an entertaining game. So, yeah, again, like I said, we know it's not the easiest situation to be in, but we're gonna play as hard as we can, and we're gonna try and get the 2 points.
Yeah, just a quick comment on your opponent tonight. The Sharks are second in the league in first period goals. What allows them to be so successful early on in the hockey game?
I think they're just prepared right off the bat every single game. I've never seen them have a bad start. They come out flying, and they know how to play the game. Coming out of the dressing room. So we have to make sure we match that.
Great. Thanks, Leo.
As a player, as a team, never want to find yourself in this position. These games are, fair to say, meaningless in the standings, and the best thing I can say is you work so hard in your career. Every season matters. To get a chance to win, to put in the playoff, and it's fair to say that we fell short this year, and I know in my position it feels somewhat of a waste.
You know these guys in the room. How much will pride factor into tonight's equation?
Yeah, like I said, I think there's a lot to play for individually for a lot of guys here, and I think we've got to rally around that. We've got to play for each other, and we've been through quite a bit this year. There's been a lot of change here, but throughout all that, a lot of the guys here have kept together and kept pushing at times where a lot of people thought we were done. And I think at this point in the year, we have to realize that you got to battle for the guy next to you, and you got to play the right way, because those are the kind of things people look forward to in this league. Those types of players, and it's important to finish strong.
Good luck tonight.
Alex, Alex, just a quick comment on your opponent. They're 1-8-1 their last 10 games, but they're still third in the league in goals for. They've given up a lot of goals. Do they play that high-risk, high-reward game where they can kind of catch you on any given play?
Yeah, I mean, I was actually looking at the roster this morning. They got a lot of guys with double-digit goals. A lot of guys over 20 goals. So I think they feel like they can play a little bit more of the run and gun game. But this is a team that's getting prepared for the playoffs, and like you said, it hasn't been a great stretch for them, and I'm sure those guys are playing these last 2 games to make sure they're ready for the first round, and we're going to get a hell of a test tonight. So we're going to prepare well, and even though it may not mean a lot to the standing, it has to mean to the guys in the room the way we play, and it's important I can't emphasize enough how important it is to do well tonight and do well Saturday.
Alex, sorry we were late, but I just wonder on a personal level, how different is this for you compared to last year? You know, you're getting ready for
Looks like you're slated for your second start, sixth appearance. Just maybe talk about your mindset heading into this one.
Yeah, I'm excited. Obviously I've been working hard in practice, and really encouraged by my last relief appearance. So I just want to go out there and give a good effort.
How do you build off that last relief appearance?
I just kind of, went over the tape a little bit with Schwartzy. There's a lot of good things. Just clean up some rebounds here and there. But for me, kind of just tonight I want to settle in early. Limit the opposing team's second chance opportunities by controlling my rebounds, and just play my game.
When you see a team like the San Jose Sharks come in, obviously they're third in the league in goals, and especially in the first period, they're the second best team in the National Hockey League when it comes to goals for in that first period. Do you see that as a challenge that you're looking forward to maybe combating?
Yeah, obviously they got some really highly skilled players, and you're obviously going to want to go out there and not give them anything early. And you look down the other end. I don't know who's starting in goal, but I've played Jones and Dell before, and they're both really good goalies. So you're kind of going to want to match their play.
Anthony, every goalie wants the net, is chomping at the bit. How did you go about handling the situation where Mikko's getting 24 out of 25 starts? What was that like for you as well?
I've kind of been used to it, I guess you could say, over my career. My first 2 years in Philly, I didn't play, just strictly backup role, and I think that kind of helped me, just kind of getting used to the NHL and the NHL speed and getting as much practice time as I can. But obviously you want the net, and you want to get games, and Mikko was rolling there for a little bit, so. You want to make sure that you get the most of your practice reps and make sure that you're sharp. So when your name's called, you make the most of your opportunity.
The age-old saying for goaltenders is you prepare for every game, no matter if you're the starter or the backup. But does it kind of give you a little bit of extra juice heading into tonight?
Yeah, 100%. This is really the first time I kind of knew. I was playing. Obviously, Mikko with my first start was 6. So it's exciting to be able to play and to be able to play on home ice here.
What about the adjustment for you? I mean, grew up in New Jersey, you played in Philly, so that's kind of like being right at home. But you're north of the border, you're playing in a great hockey city. What are your adjustments there, and what do you notice?
Obviously, it's a lot different in the Canadian market than the American market. But I was able to play in London for 2 years, and they were. The coverage there was, not as, I guess you could say, top notch as Edmonton, but, you had some coverage there, and I kind of got used to it a little bit. But, for me, it just kind of, it's exciting to, see the hype. You look around, you look on TV, you see just hockey talk, and, it's great for a kid who grew up in the States. You kind of, you dream of hockey being the number one sport. Obviously, in the U.S., it's basketball, football, baseball. So to be able to see that, it's exciting for sure.
And what about the comparison? Working
comment on tonight's opponent. Obviously, they're in a little bit of a slide in their last 10 games, but they seem to play that open-end style that you guys have said that doesn't work well for you guys. How do you guys plan on mitigating that?
Well, they're a deep team, one of the deepest teams in the West and have been for years. They're well built, well constructed. Their older players have been with them for a long, long time. Heck, I knew them when they were young. And they're obviously looking at the way things are right now that this might be their best chance. So I know they're going through a little bit of tough time right now, but knowing those players as well as I do, and knowing the coach, they'll be ready.
Ken, there aren't a lot of guys that come in on a professional tryout and score 20 goals for a team. I just wanted to, in your time working with Alex Chiasson, what have you seen out of him, and what makes him, what has made him such an important player for this team this year?
For me, he knows what I call spots and spacing as well as anybody, so he knows where to go to get the open shot in the offensive zone. He's what's called a pocket player. He's a guy that works from dot to dot in the offensive zone and knows exactly where to go to get the puck. He can read coverage. He can read how to get open out of coverage, and he's always in a shooting position in that shooting area. So to me, obviously the knock on Alex before was foot speed, but when you know how to play in those zones, and you can play inside that dot-to-dot area, then you're going to always get your scoring chances. You just look at him on the power play. He knows how to read off of people. He knows when it's a deflection time, or he knows when it's a tip time, and he knows when it's a shooting time. And he's a smart player in that type of area.
Ken, in your experience, can a team that maybe struggles down the stretch a little bit flip that switch come playoff time and become that dangerous team that can, make a run in the playoffs?
Well, for all intents and purposes, our season ended in the loss to Dallas. We poured everything we had into that hockey game. I look back on it on my situation. Should I have pulled the goalie and left it on more than a skills competition? That's something I'm going to have to wrestle with. But there was a whole different look in our faces when that game was over, and it was even worse looking the next day. And so we are entering the idling phase, and this is now game 3 for idling phase, and it's the wrong phase to be in to play a team that's getting ready for the playoffs. And you're 2 steps or 1 step, you're just about there, you're behind, and we're trying everything we can to get up to what I know the pace of the game is. I think it's more magnified because of what San Jose's been through, and they're trying to right their ship right away and get a good feeling going. So I think we're going to get their A game tonight, whether we want it or not. And they're, like I said, a very deep team, and they can overwhelm you. And we've seen games where they've bumped us hard in San Jose, and we got to be ready for it. Hi, Mark.
Glenn St. Pierre stepped down today's role with the Rangers. You must go back a ways. Take us back to when you were breaking in and he was already here.
I go back with Glenn. I watched Glenn. I was at a lot of Oil King practices when Glenn was an Oil King, and played with Max Mstinsik and Butch Paul. That was a line. So I've seen Glenn play. He wasn't a very good player, and I've seen him run the Oilers. I've been interviewed for jobs with him and been scared to death at the interview. And then now we're good friends. And he's meant a lot to me personally. He's helped me in a number of ways personally. And in talking to him over the last 3 or 4 months, I kind of got the feeling that he was running on empty. And this isn't surprising, but man, he's been a great ambassador, and especially for this city. In my view, as much as he's a New York Ranger, he still bleeds Oiler colors. And we've talked a lot about this team and that over the last little while, but I'm really lucky that I get to have him as a friend.
Ken, last home game of the season, how tough might this day be for you?
I don't look at it like that. You know, you have fun preparing. You know, we had a meeting today with the leaders, a good meeting. You just run it right to the end. And I know, like the rest of the coaches, our fate's in someone else's hands, and we understand that. That's the nature of the game. We've all been through it. But for me, it's get the best you can out of yourself and your team and your coaches, and then let whatever happens next week take care of itself. But to me, I want our team to play well. I know it's a difficult situation, and some of these things you're not in control of, but I just want our team to play well and take it from there. It's a little bit different for me because I'm hoping that I can be part of the organization in some form moving forward to help right the ship, but we'll wait and see. That'll be up to the new people in charge.